Well, hey there. Welcome to Real WW Talk. I'm Erin.
I'm Candice.
And I'm Rikki.
Ladies, hello.
Hello
How was
there.
your week?
Ooh, just let's go.
Let's go straight in.
Rikki, you have to go first.
Well, you always.
That's
Right.
That's me calling an
rephrase.
audible. I have to think about my week.
I'm going to rephrase the question because I feel like this is an easier answer. What's the best thing you ate for lunch this week?
Ooh.
See how excited they are about that?
We got, they do a lot of great things for staff, and we have different times where we have to stay late or, for meetings with parents and things. So the PTA a lot of times will provide a lunch. So they provided tacos, and I don't know, I just love a good taco, like a chicken taco with the trimmings and putting it all together. So I'd say that's my best thing.
Yum. I love tacos.
Yeah.
Candice?
There's a local spot that is known for their crab cakes, and I had to go with, if there's ever a client that we need to take out or somebody that we go to Timbuktu because they have really huge crab cakes. But they have a lunch special that has the crab cakes, and you can get like broccoli and another thing on the side. So I got my Timbuktu crab cake for lunch, and the thing is huge. Like, I mean, I don't know if you can see the faces. Rikki, have you had a Timbuktu crab cake?
I'm not a crab cake person, and I've never been to Timbuktu.
Okay, well, Timbuktu, if you like crab cakes, they're huge, like they're really big. So you can have like half for lunch, half for dinner. Fantastic. So that made me very happy. And
I'm so proud of you because I could house a whole crab cake. And like if I'm getting it, I'm eating. I'm not reheating because I can't even smell I can't do the smell of crab
cake. This is like one of those things where you're like, am I just showing off for the people here? Like, oh, that was a lovely side. Like, or are we going to town? So, you don't really know with someone. Like, so I was kind of going at their pace. Like, oh, that was enough, right? Oh, right. Good. It was good. But no, that was my favorite by far. So if you're ever in Maryland, I'm sure everyone has their favorite spot. I'm not saying it's the best crab cake in Maryland. I'm saying it is a very good crab cake and a nice little spot that the locals know about. So
yeah. Yes. I did this week. Well, we welcomed a new staff member and we had a little party to celebrate him. And we did soup and salad. We did homemade soups, a variety of soups. And so I contributed to the soupage. And I made one of the members of our staff. She has more food allergies than I do. And her food allergies also include nightshade vegetables. So no peppers, no paprika. Like there's some seasonings and things that go along with it.
Side note, can I just really quickly, paprika is one of those that like, I don't really actually know if I miss it as a flavor in a dish, but I feel like it has to be in everything.
Well, it gives that little bit of color, but if it's like paprika, I mean, it definitely, you will notice it depending on that particular dish. Like it really does have because it's pepper. It's dried peppers, like green pepper, red pepper, that type of thing. And those are pretty pronounced flavors, right? So she can't do corn, no soy, no potatoes, no peppers, no paprika, because paprika is potatoes, no chili pepper, so no like chili powder seasoning kind of a thing. So I was like, yay, a cooking adventure for me. I love a cooking challenge. So I made a roasted butternut squash soup that she could eat. And then she made the salad that both of us could eat with this really delicious dressing. And so I love the challenge of cooking for a food allergy, especially with mine. So, but the butternut squash soup that I made was delicious. It had coconut milk in it and some warming spices, some turmeric, a little bit of cinnamon. I used the Saigon cinnamon for it, not the Carinthia cinnamon. Just putting that out there.
Even if your soups aren't good, it's just the way you describe them. It's always just a little coconut milk, just right over the edge.
It was silky.
cinnamon and a little salt, but not too much.
Mhm.
Just
And
the way you describe it.
pink
Yeah.
salt, not the
Not the Himalayan salt,
Right.
and then you just get a little curry, but not too much, you know?
That's
I would
funny.
describe it and it would be horribly nasty, like, but it sounds really good. You know, yours actually
It does.
good. So, yeah.
So today we're going to talk about lunch because a couple weeks ago we talked about breakfast. And we had so many great comments in the Real WW Talk Facebook group as we all saw people what they were eating for breakfast, and it really ran the gamut from either really like savory items or sweet items kind of blended together. There was one I don't know if you guys saw it. I'm actually going to go pull your why isn't this doing it? It was Tina. I need to go pull her breakfast up real quick so I can read this to you because I looked at it and I was like, this looks amazing. Oh, daggone, it's missing the colon. Hold on. Wait a minute. Oh, here it is. Okay. She did an everyday dose the mushroom latte, a tablespoon of whatever that is to make like a drink to go along with it, with some hazelnut flavored coffee creamer. That was 2 points. She did 2 ounces of cooked lean beef steak, a half a cup of low-fat cottage cheese, 2/3 of a cup of roasted potatoes, 2 eggs, and she cooked it in a teaspoon of bacon grease for 2 points.
That sounds very filling.
Right?
Good. I was good, but also filling, like all of those.
Yes. Yeah. And I was like, that is
all right,
girl, that's breakfast.
Look at the people we have. We got some chefs in our group.
We do.
Yeah,
like when you make that
do.
kind of stuff, it's like, man, I don't want to go out to eat when I've got this at home. You know, at least that's me. That's me. Like if I can make that at home, you're gonna have to work really hard to impress me with breakfast out of the home.
And listen, anyone in our group, if you're not that fancy and you just had Cheerios, we still want to hear from you too. That's okay. So let us know. It doesn't have look, Rikki and I, we may not be Aaron's level, but we like our little you know.
You all enjoy your Cheerios. I'm with Tina. So
there you go. You know. But it's always good to see the variety.
Right.
People,
but that may not, that's not every day. That may just been, you know what I mean? Like that's that day, but you know, it runs the gamut. Runs the gamut.
Sometimes people get intimidated. They're like, but you can do so many things. That's what I learned. And people sharing gave me so many great ideas.
So I'm like, well, I don't have to do the whole thing. I can just, you know, pluck little bits, pluck little ideas. I love it.
Yes.
Shout out to Michelle. She said, ladies, I just found your podcast on YouTube this year. I have a treadmill. I don't use it. It's in the basement, but I bought a walking pad that I have upstairs in front of my TV. I hit play and I walk every morning now watching you because we have such a catalog of videos from our years of doing this. She said, so on my day off, I may do this 3 times a day to get my steps because I'm in Wisconsin, chilly. You 3 make the 40 minutes go by fast.
Oh,
that's so sweet.
We got a similar one too. Bridget sent us something. I don't know if you all saw this. She sent us an email. And if you want to, you can send us emails at realwwtalk@gmail.com. But she said, ladies, thank you. I debated writing this email, but decided you gals should know how impactful what you're doing is. My story isn't that unique. Heavy, not heavy. My whole life, lost weight, gained it, lost it and gained it. Weight Watchers lifetime member since 2006, relapsed in 2015. The last 6 years brought on a cancer scare, marriage, kiddos, pandemic, 2 moves, a lot of life. At the start of 2024, I barely recognized myself. Somewhere in all of that, I lost who I was, what I wanted, and how I should feel. With diabetes knocking on my door, with a history of pre-diabetes, gestational diabetes, and PCOS, I committed to Weight Watchers. For 3 months, I tracked, weighed, and exercised diligently. Nothing moved the scale. In fact, I gained. Sometimes you never know when your moment is your moment. I have a distinct memory of the exact location I was when I heard your podcast and heard words, I think, from Aaron. What is the one next step that you can take? And in my heart of hearts, I thought there's nothing. She said, I decided to use Weight Watchers Clinic. I met with my care team. I lost 0.6 pounds the first week, and I was beyond ecstatic. I still have to track. I meal plan and prep. I record my activity, and I take my GLP-1. It hasn't made the journey. It's made my journey easier and completely possible. I never lost more than a pound a week, but I'm now down over 40 pounds.
Wow.
And for the first time since I started tracking, my A1C is at 4.7. Unbelievable.
Wow.
So thank
That's
you.
amazing.
Your weekly podcast has provided much needed guidance, support, laughs, and the unexpected moment I needed to realize that I'm worth it.
Oh my
From
goodness.
Bridget. So we just wanted to congratulate you on your weight loss and your aha moment. That made my day to read that. So
Guys, what was our hands?
Bravo stars?
Bravo star hands. Yes.
Yes.
So many wins there, you know.
Gosh, but that
figuring out what works for
A1C,
you.
yeah, that A1C number for me is, I mean, 40 pounds is an amazing, that is an amazing feat. And the pound a week, half a pound a week makes just, it's that slow and steady, but the impact on the A1C, that has long vision for health. That's fantastic.
Yeah. Amazing, Bridget.
Carol, we heard from Carol. She said, I've been following your podcast for about a year and I love it. I lost about 30 pounds on WW 10 years ago, but I quickly regained part of it when our meeting stopped. We've heard that from so many people. I've now retired and I don't want to blossom. So I've rejoined WW. Just curious how you all feel about using weeklies. When I go through my dailies, I feel like I'm cheating. Listen, for me, when I go through my dailies, I feel like I'm eating, not cheating.
Right.
You need to eat your dailies. That's what WW has set aside for you to be able to truly lose weight. And they give you those weeklies to aid in the losing of the weight. So I personally would suggest that you make a decision on where you feel comfortable with your weeklies, but they design the program for you to be able to use both your dailies and your weeklies and maintain weight loss, a healthy rate of weight loss. And I'm just going to add the addendum and a reminder that we are not health coaches, weight loss experts, etc. So make sure to check with a doctor or dietitian, but that's something that we have found that has brought success to us on the plan.
I would say also just, respectfully and humbly submitted, let's look at the mindset, because something about when you ask the question to me, and maybe it's not, but what I was hearing more of is like a diety thought of like, this is a program you want to embrace so that you can live it and it's livable for you. So cheating, doing that, like it's more so, I would love to say, are you really full? Like Erin said, are you feeling full? Are you feeling proud of your choices? Are you feeling like you're getting all of the nutrients and the stuff that you need to feel powerful? And if you are, look at where that number is. That's what's, to me, more important. The scale will follow. But if you're just depriving yourself because you're trying to stay within this, that's not very sustainable long term. Trust us, we've tried it. Just look at it.
4 years.
You want to know, is that true? No, I promise. Like it's true. It only lasts for so long before you'll go back to other habits.
Yeah, I agree. I think you guys hit the nail on the head. I think, I would be more focused on how you're feeling and, what your day looks like. Are you including enough protein and letting those things be an indicator of how you're feeling versus the number of points, but definitely not depriving yourself and definitely going by, feeling proud of what you're choosing to do and what you're choosing to eat and how your body feels versus those numbers.
Yeah.
And yes, you can lose weight eating your weeklies, to answer your question. Yes.
Yeah.
For me, at least, I can't say for everybody, but I've never had a time in my journey where I haven't been able to lose with doing the points the way that they've given it.
Yeah, and for me doing the calorie tracking alongside it, it became real obvious to me that I needed to eat my weeklies alongside because at some point I was only getting 800 to 1,000 calories a
Such a
day.
great
How I,
point, Karen.
yeah.
Yeah.
So now WW is giving us even more information about the food that we're eating, which I think is really important. So we've got those macros that are in there. And yeah, use it all, information for you. And then one final comment. This came from someone who posted anonymously in the group because they just felt a little bit more secure doing that. Just a side note, anybody is welcome to post anonymously. You cannot post anonymously and be mean because that also breaks the group rule. So just putting that out there. That's not how anonymous works in the group. Safe space anonymous. They wrote, this is the lowest weight I have been in 35 years. Honest tracking has been the key. And for context, I am a 65-year-old female with hypothyroidism. I stay the course, and I have lost slowly over time. Yoga with Adrienne every day for almost 5 years. Daily yoga has been the second key change. My nervous system is calmer. I have built strength by being gentle with my precious body versus exercise as torture, leading to injury, leading to giving up on repeats.
My precious body.
I love that.
The terminology that we're using, like that's what spoke to me. Like,
yeah,
the respect she has for herself. I love
yes.
that.
And that distinction between, doing yoga as something, as a treat
Punishment.
for herself versus, if calisthenics or if, running on a treadmill or, doing other types of cardio or strength training is what you feel makes you feel good, then I think that's great too. But I think deciding that, like, for her, that, yoga is what's a treat for her, and that she was using other types of activity as punishment is an important distinction, because we shouldn't be using any of these tools as a punishment.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. 100%. Gosh, we just had so many, I just love the love for people having over themselves. I just think that is, that's our whole goal with this, is just to learn to like ourselves a little bit more.
I feel like I want to sing a song, but I don't know which one. I feel like
right. I'm sure there's a Mariah song somewhere in you, Candice.
I'm just feeling, I don't know. That's what friends are for. I don't know what it is, but I'm feeling the
Maybe
love.
It's butterfly. We're watching people blossom.
Well, early, but I would belt it out. But I'm just loving, like you said, the love that people are showing themselves, that they're showing the podcast, because that's, again, this is like our part-time job. This is, we're not getting paid, but that's the reason why we do it, is to hear and to see the impact, because sometimes you can feel very isolated on this journey. And to see somebody recognize their strength in themselves motivates me, to say, remember, there's a beautiful little butterfly in you too.
There it is.
It's right there in the palm of your hand. Let it fly. Okay?
Let it go. Let it go. Let it go.
Let it go. Okay.
Can't hold it back anymore. Let it go. Let it go.
Rikki, get her, Rikki.
Rein her in.
Okay. High school drama. Oh, I just shook the whole table.
Don't do that.
Ladies, let's talk about lunch. A couple weeks ago, we talked about breakfast and breakfast ideas, and that was such a hit in the group, in our Facebook group, which you can find, just search Facebook for Real WW Talk, and join the group. Candice is hot on approving people coming in, making sure there are no bots, no bad boys coming in and messing up our mojo. So thank you, Candice, for your diligence.
We will not be posting recipes that go to fake pages that, mess up groups, and not in here.
Not here.
Answer our questions and you'll get in. Because there's a lot of them on purpose. So please answer them. If you did try to get in and you got denied, it's probably because you didn't answer the questions.
Right.
So just do that, please.
That's how it works. That's how it works. So there's a lot of inspiration with members sharing breakfasts, and I love seeing people take bits and bobs of what could work for them. So I thought, well, you know what? Let's talk about lunch, and let's also especially talk about mid-afternoon snacks. Let's package those together because Mary asked us specifically about mid-afternoon snacks. She says, I need some suggestions, especially for sweet and salty. I'm in my den working on the church books. Usually I would take a bad snack. So I need suggestions for good snacks. And don't say carrots or pretzels. I need something different to nibble on. Also, your go-to candies or cookies when you just have to have something. Thank you.
I was gonna ask, I was triggered by the word bad. Again, what is bad? But is it more so higher point? I think that may be what you're kind of implying. Something that takes a lot of points.
Yes, exactly. And just for record for us, there are no good foods. There are no bad foods because food is not morality. It's
look, you can see that we have been trained by our coaches because we were like, what's that word bad? No.
That's right. So we're just, we're redefining the terms because what might be you would classify as a bad snack, and there are no bad snacks for someone else, would be a really great choice for them, because an alternative choice could actually be something even more. So,
depending on the day, you may say, I choose to have a higher point thing right now.
Right.
But I get your point, because that actually is a really tough time of the day for me too. I would say if there's any time of day that I'm tripped up, it's that afternoon kind of like snack in between lunch and dinner. That, like you said, I just don't really want celery sticks, or I don't want this. But like, so when someone would say, you could just have some peanut butter on a piece of celery, I'm like, maybe not.
So I want to say that I feel like where I have noticed for me when it comes to the snackage, the more satiated I am from lunch and breakfast, I don't need the snackage, or how I approach my snackage changes based on my lunch. Do you guys notice that? And even evening snackage as well?
Yes.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. So let's start. Well, I'm trying to think if we should start with lunch or if we should start with the snackage. Well, Mary
asked the question.
Yeah, she's specifically looking for that. So,
you know what I have found for me? I'm a volume person during that time. I just like to do the act. So popcorn, my son's been big on popcorn recently. So we've become this something, and actually making it like on the stove, like without all the additives, like just because it doesn't take long. I mean, you just kind of like do a little shaky shake, but popcorn gives me the volume for a low amount of points. And you can throw little things in there if you're really feeling like you have to have a little sweet. I mean, you could throw in a few chocolate chips if you really wanted to, like a tablespoon maybe, for 3 points, depending on what you want to do to kind of give yourself a little bit. But popcorn has been really, really great, as well as the string cheeses, like add like a protein. It's like the 2 points low fat. It's not called string cheese, mozzarella. The
baby bells and that kind of a thing.
Yeah. I've really enjoyed that as a pairing to get me through, because at that point, sometimes it really is just about wanting to put something in my mouth, and you can get 2-3 cups for 3 points.
Rikki, how about you?
I sometimes, if I have a later lunch, I don't always do an afternoon snack. But if I do happen to want something, I try to combine things. So like you said, with volume, Candice, I might have an apple, but I might also have usually want something sweet. So I might mix it with Trader Joe's has these little squares, these rice squares, which I hadn't seen for a while, but they're back. And they have some chocolate and peanut butter on them. And I think they're about 3 points. They're not a lot. They're probably the size of maybe half the size of a Rice Krispie treat. They're small, but they're individually wrapped, so they're easy to pop in my lunch bag. But I tend to go for things like that. I've shared those little mini cookies before too. They're probably individually the size of an Oreo, but they're also individually wrapped, and it's like a shortbread cookie with a little piece of chocolate. And some are sea salt flavored. One I think has a little caramel flavor, but those are, I think, 2 points for one. But they're again individually wrapped, so I can have one of them, maybe two if I really want something sweet. But I'll usually mix it with a piece of fruit or something, and just so I feel more full.
Mm-hmm. Well, you guys know, for me, I've talked, several episodes, probably November, December, and I've really been making a point of this, that snacking and having like the bags of chips and popcorns and those things are not a good choice for me, because I lack the ability to do the portion control when it comes to those things. A family size bag is a serving size kind of a thing. I don't know what happens, but it just is. So since November, I have not had chips and pretzels and any of those things in the house. And for me, if there is any snacking, it's really forced me to be intentional and plan what I'm going to eat. So my snacking really comes more along nutrition. And I know our friend does not want to hear carrot sticks, right? Or pretzels. But I have been more intentional in that space of, am I going to have a chia seed pudding ready to go for me so that I can eat, something intentional? Because if I am hungry, then I actually need to eat a mini meal, and not something just to kind of pass the little time, a little noshy kind of a thing. So, and sometimes I'll do oatmeal. I'll actually make a bowl of oatmeal with some PB2 in it. And I might put a little sprinkle of chocolate chips so it feels a little, fun and fancy.
But to your point, Erin, like I said, I think it is about picking the things that don't cause you to be, I don't want to say bingy, but like popcorn doesn't do that for me, but chips do. So I have to be careful with chips, but popcorn is like, I don't know. But you know what else? And we've been talking a lot about it the past few weeks, soup. Like get a cup of chicken noodle soup, 2-3 points. And it's something with it being hot and fill it, it has the veggies in it, depending on what brand or if you make it at home. But I think we have to redefine what you're allowed to eat at what time.
Yes.
Sometimes you're like, well, I can't have eggs because that's for breakfast. Well, if you wanted a scrambled egg, why couldn't you have it during that time?
Hard-boiled egg.
Hard-boiled egg, who made the rule that you only can have things?
I think sometimes, I think sometimes too, it's like we have to let go of, maybe sometimes it's generational snacking, if that makes sense, because how we grew up in the 90s, we were marketed that a snack was a 100-calorie packet of a Snackwell cookie or right. That was what was marketed to as a snack, as opposed to, hey, let's forget about that. And let's forget about what we know about snacking. If I'm sitting here and I'm hungry, what would I choose to eat right here in this moment to make sure that I'm not hungry later, as opposed to, what we knew growing up? Because if you ask my mom about a snack, my mom grew up outside of that different culture. For her, a snack would be, I'm going to eat a hard-boiled egg or some, maybe even yogurt. They really didn't even have yogurt then, but it might be some cut up fresh fruit and vegetables. That was a snack.
And I love how you talked about like the mini meal thing, because that really targets, like you said, what your body needs. Like if you're truly hungry, maybe you haven't had enough protein or fiber and you need to have that. But I think again, like Candice, you said this too, like being outside of the box. I'm thinking about how Super Bowl is coming up, and I'm like, all I can think about is like how many, I don't go to many Super Bowl parties, but like this time of year, in addition to the soups, like dips are really popular. And there's so many things you can do to either, whether it's a warm dip that has, maybe cottage cheese in it or something, and some chicken, like shredded chicken, that could probably feel almost like a meal, and it has protein, it has, it could have fiber and whatever you need to add to your body. and to help fuel you for the afternoon. I think that is something you may not think to bring for your lunch to have as a snack when you're feeling hungry, but it could be something you're looking forward to, but also that fills those different, needs.
Rikki, I hate to tell you this, but the Super Bowl was last week. So
Yes, she's all, poor thing. I didn't want to hurt her feelings because she doesn't watch football.
I think somebody else is going to be like,
yes, that is true. We did that. We did do that.
Well, yeah. I mean, like I said, nobody invited me to any football Super Bowl parties.
I was like, Rikki doesn't watch football. She's like,
what? Rikki's over here sitting waiting for her dip invite. Like, where's the party invite to
anything?
I'm still waiting.
Yeah.
Still waiting.
Whatever.
Somebody, one of the kids, like, I know this, and I don't know why it came out of my mouth. He was telling me about his basketball game because they're big in basketball. And I said, did you get a field goal? And he looked at me and I went, wrong game. Sorry about that.
Yeah. That didn't
happen. So that is me with every sport.
Right.
I mean, she's so supportive, Rikki. She'll be like, how did you enjoy the game? It was good. You seemed very excited about it. That was good.
But
going shopping.
The takeaway is all kinds. So Rikki is like, well, I'm going to go make my own party now. Having like, so the Super Bowl is a good thing to think about too, is that there are certain foods, like any holiday, like we save them for that thing. So when I think about Super Bowl, I'm thinking wings, I'm thinking buffalo flavor. Right, exactly. But you know what? Like this week, it could be, hey, I'm going to make the zucchini boats with, I've got shredded chicken and buffalo sauce and some Greek yogurt. And I'm going to make a shredded buffalo chicken because I still want that flavor. I want to keep that going, right? I want to make that continue to happen. And there are ways that could still get incorporated. I mean, that could even still be its own snack. That doesn't even have to be the meal, a buffalo chicken dip. Like those are things that could be easily made a little bit more on the healthy side and still be enjoyed outside of the designated time frame.
And I also do think it is a good time. Again, I'm speaking as somebody who that's a trigger time for me where I have to do some mental work. Like you said, what am I really hungry? Am I really hungry? If I am, then we'll go through everything that we just said. Or for me, I was found through my therapy, I was starting to be triggered by the fact that I was running out of points for the day. And a self-sabotagingness was coming on me. Like, oh, well, I'm usually great for breakfast, lunch. Okay, I'm good. Wait a second. I'm starting to run out of points. I don't really know if I like this. I'm feeling deprived, even though I really wasn't. It was just something that I had associated with that time. And once I reframed that, you have points. If you go over, it's fine. But what do you really need right now? Would I eat a carrot stick? Because sometimes you're really hungry and you're like, whether I want it or not, would I eat a carrot stick? Because I need something in my belly versus, no, I just really want a chocolate chip cookie.
Yeah, that's a good defining question for me. You know what I do keep in my refrigerator? I bought, Rikki, I thought about you as I bought this at Home Goods because I always feel like Rikki has like the best little containers and special little things for her fridge. Like everything is just like, it's good aesthetic kind of a thing. And me, I'm like, well, that's a pot that I had a plant in it 3 weeks ago, but that'll work in the fridge. It's once I wash it out,
Erin has the recipes, but Rikki has the beauty when it comes to what it's in.
Yes.
And I have neither. That's not a dip. I just go between the two. Like, I don't know.
I bought a special container. It's a clear acrylic container, and it's got a little thing inside with the it's a fruit basket essentially for your fridge. And I have, because I'm working the sales for grapes, and I'm still very upset that a toddler snack is now like $4, $5, $6 a pound. I refuse to pay that, but I'm working the sales at the different grocery stores, and I'm going to different grocery stores to get the sales on grapes. But I wash them, I pull them off the stems, and they sit in that little basket so I can, when I need a little munchie, a little quote unquote snack kind of a thing, I just reach my hand in and grab a couple and pop them. And I'm good. So I'm trying to have more of that kind of stuff stocked in my fridge that if I go grab a few, that I'm still working on the mindless eating thing. So I think that's even with the healthy foods, that's still something. I don't want to be mindlessly eating grapes, mindlessly eating other things, because that's a different issue to me. But when I am noshy, I can reach in and grab a couple, and I know that that's good for me, you know?
Do you find you have to pair a fruit with some type of protein, or, because some people with even the natural sugar, they feel like they need to have like a balance.
It depends on my hunger level. If I'm going to go sit down with a cup of grapes, I'm going to need a protein with it. But if I'm just grabbing 5 grapes, to tide me over in a little minute here, like I just need a little something, something, or I want a little something, something, a little 5 grapes I'm good. But if I'm sitting down with the whole thing, then yes, I find myself needing like a protein pairing with it.
Okay.
Yeah. We did have a couple people did join in on that, and Mickey, who I believe Mickey's down like 30 pounds, and she's been doing half a pound a week. She says, my go-to at home in the afternoons is popcorn in my silicone microwave popper spritz with olive oil and popcorn seasoning. I also like dry roasted almonds that are salted, paired with a fruit or cheese stick. Shelly says, I have sliced apple and peanut butter on a plain rice cake. Somebody else had mentioned rice rollers. Have you tried the rice rollers? They're like these, it's like air popped rice that's in a stick, but it's like kind of like a honey or a little bit of a real thin sugar, something that happens together. They're usually only like 1 or 2 points. Candice, Isaiah would love these. They're so good.
I need to find those. Like those, I was like, tell me more, because I'm always like snacks.
The rice rollers I've usually found over towards like the Asian food aisle. It tends to be like a Korean snack. Find them. They're delightful.
They're called rice rollers.
Rice rollers. Okay. Yes. Ashley had a great list of ideas. She said laughing cow cheese and veggies, baked Cheetos, 100-calorie almond cashew packs, veggie puffs. She says the white cheddar veggie puffs are really good. She says, I naturally limit myself with 0 sugar candies, because if you don't, they can be a little quote unquote uncomfortable. But on occasion, she'll do the 0 sugar Russell Stover peanut butter cups, that kind of stuff.
Those are the things that get me. That's what's so hard, like the cheese puffs and stuff, because I just don't feel like I get any fullness from it. But it's good to know. I know for some people that it really does help them, but I need pairing that with like a protein. I could see how that could be helpful.
Yep. Yeah, we have a bunch of people. Miriam had mentioned doing like a whole grain English muffin for 2 points, a light whole grain English muffin for 2 points, a tablespoon of almond or peanut butter, which can be 2 to 3 points, and then a tablespoon of sugar-free Smucker's marmalade or another flavor, that's 1 point. And then she said, I might add fruit. She says, honestly, this is actually a small meal because of the fat and protein, but it does travel well and it's filling. So I think it definitely is, what's your goal with the snack? And it looks like Mary's looking for things that are closer to, that 0 point side. But gosh, think about, if pretzels, if you're doing pretzels and you get a small pack for 3 points, or you could have a serving of oatmeal for 0 points, a tablespoon of peanut butter for 2 points or 3 points, right? And you chop up an apple and maybe use some 0 sugar maple syrup drizzled over top of that. That's filling for the same amount of points. So it's maybe just kind of looking at, what's going to fill you up more, what gives you a little bit more nutrition, where you're going with it. That's how I start to look at it.
And choosing to make it fun, because that's thinking outside of the box. And I think that we have to challenge ourselves to do that more, instead of going towards what seems, like you said, maybe you think 10 chips that they put in a pre-portioned bag is going to do it for you. That versus the oatmeal with the apple and the chocolate chips that gives you the sweet and the salty. You're like, that might take a little bit more effort, slightly, but it pays off in the end.
Yeah. And honestly, if you add sprinkles, add a
Anything.
dash of sprinkles to anything.
Yeah. Yeah.
That
It just
makes
means
it.
that you're just always happy.
Yeah. Let's talk about lunch. Oh gosh, we're going long here. But just a couple lunch ideas. I know we hit snacks. Or should we do a to be continued and do lunch in another one?
I think we
Let's
should.
let's do lunch in another one. Okay.
Yeah.
Dun, dun, dun. To be continued. Next week, coming up next week, we're talking lunch.
Love it. That's Radio Aaron.
I just looked at the time and went, holy moly, how did we do
We're
this?
not going to talk about that today.
Yeah.
No,
Time
this
flies when
was
you're having
not a
fun.
snack-sized episode.
Yeah. Thank you for your question, though. So you gave us a whole
That's good.
episode worth of content. Yep.
Yeah. Okay, so let's continue the conversation over in the Real WW Talk Facebook group. And here's what I would love. Lots of ideas. Let's see it in action this week. So would you think about it as you eat your snack, snap a picture of your snack and share it in the Real WW Talk Facebook group. Or if you're on Instagram, share it to your stories and tag us in your stories. We'd love to see it and we'll reshare. And let's get some snackage going this week, some snack ideas. How's that sound?
Sounds great.
Yeah.
Yay. All right. Lunch ideas coming next week.
Stay tuned.
Yes.
Dun, dun, dun. Okay, goodbye.
Bye.